Welcome to Ole Walls House. It's me. It's your man. It's your main man. It's Ole Walls. And I'm back again, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 193 coming your way today. Got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Full slate of NFL football, a little college football, some fights, some baseball, my passing thoughts. A lot going on here this episode. I'm running solo this week, so we're going to get right into that shortly. Before we do, just want to say thank you to everybody. Appreciate the support, appreciate the listens, the watches. You guys know the deal. If you could, helps out if you could comment, rate, review, subscribe, and share. Let everyone know Ole Walls House is the place to be. Get yourself some Ole Walls House merch on the merch store with the link in the show notes below. You'll also find some merch in there from my good buddy MJ and the Full Range podcast that you can find on Spotify and over on the Ole Walls House YouTube channel. So, without any further ado, let's get into some NFL this week. The Green Bay Packers are 2-0, baby. Win the week. Just keep doing it. The Packers take down the Washington Commanders. Commanders end up scoring, again, another kind of late touchdown here. Packers went up 27-10 with about 6:40 left in the game. And the Commanders, Deebo Samuel caught a pass from Jaden Daniels late. But again, this was a game where the Packers got out early. Scored the first touchdown in the game. Romeo Doubs scored the second touchdown in the game, up 14-0. Let a field goal up, but come out in the third quarter, score a field goal, up 17-3. And I did make a note of this, that coming into the fourth, the Commanders scored, the Packers immediately come back down, answer that drive, score themselves. They had drives in this game scoring of 94 and 96 yards. It might have been 92 and 96. And it was at this moment I thought the Packers were a wagon. And I also said, though, it felt like it should have been closer to 24-3 than 14-3 at halftime. But, a win is a win. And there's going to be some things that are going to be good coming out of this week, and there's going to be some things that I didn't love. Obviously, the big thing that I don't love, Jaden Reed catches a would-be touchdown pass, is called back on a penalty, and breaks his collarbone. He's out 8 to 10 weeks, I think, last time I saw. Not ideal there. Just not ideal. We could really go for something else. That said, Jordan Love, 19 of 31, didn't turn it over, 292, 2 tutties. We can get behind that. The Packers completely outclassed the Commanders across all the stat lines, except for penalties. Outgained them 404 yards to 230. The defense showed up again, held them to under 200 passing yards, 50 rushing yards. They were only allowing 3.5 yards a play. That's good. Won the time of possession battle here. Only allowed 2 sacks. A little under 50% on third down, but what are we complaining about too much there? 4 sacks of their own. Micah Parsons was a game wrecker again. I just noted that he was getting, held all over the place. I mean, he did a lot. Edgerrin Cooper was playing a hell of a game. Keyshawn Nixon, maybe the best game of his life that I've seen, played his balls off, broke up 4 or 5 different passes, I think. And the way I described this game for the Packers was I said it felt like a C+ game from them with 2 A+ drives dropped in there. Maybe even 3. Every time they scored a touchdown, they looked fantastic. Tucker Kraft continues to be a weapon. Led the Packers in receiving, 6 receptions, 124 yards, a touchdown. Again, spread the ball around. Dontavian Wicks had 4 receptions. Malik Heath had a reception. Luke Musgrave coming in having 2 receptions. Romeo Doubs 3. Chris Brooks, the backup running back, got a couple of receptions. Nothing from Matthew Golden. He did get a target, I believe. But so again, that's not the 10 that it was last week, but it's a week of 6 with, only Kraft having more than 4 on 19 catches, to go around. I will say they use Savion Williams and Matthew Golden in the run game a little bit. So, good, gadget use for him there. So, count a couple of those carries were like jet sweep kind of things. So, count those as, a couple guys who touched the ball kind of in the hybrid run pass game. And, there's a couple more guys touching the ball. Penalties, though. Penalties were a killer. Got to clean that up. Got to clean out the drives that just stall out, it feels like. I'm not in love with the run game right now. It's worrying me a little bit. Josh Jacobs hasn't come close to breaking over 100. Feels like he hasn't been getting, the push. There were some changes on the line this week. 2 new starters from last week. Obviously, Jaden Reed getting hurt is a big, big issue. But again, all in all, if I'm going to say the Packers, it felt like it was their C game with a couple of A-plus drives. Like, I think that's a good thing. If you can win games where you don't look your best, I'm going to lean on that's a good thing. This is 2 wins against 2 playoff teams from last year. Last year, anytime the Packers played a good competition, they lost. They went 0-6 against, I think, 0-6 against playoff teams last year. So, hey, I think it's a step in the right direction. I think this is a good start to the season. Jordan Love has looked better this year than I thought he did for the majority of last year. So that makes me feel pretty good. But, we just got to keep getting it done. And, there's a lot of hype flying around. And the defense is playing well, and Micah Parsons is rounded into form. And now Micah Parsons gets a long rest before they play, before they go to Cleveland next week. I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic. Like I said, I said it's at this point I've realized the Packers are a wagon. Maybe they are, and maybe the next 4 or 5 weeks look all right for them. They're on the road a lot, but to the Browns, I don't think the Browns are very good. Cowboys give up an ass load of points. The Bengals aren't going to have Joe Burrow now. Go to the Cardinals. I don't think the Cardinals are fantastic. And the Steelers look terrible this week, too. So, there's 5, and then they get the Panthers. So, there's the next 6 games. Looks like they can kind of keep a run going here. Then it all leads to a showdown with the Philadelphia Eagles on November 10th. I believe that is Monday Night Football. So, that's a long, long way away. Packers are through this stretch. Like I said, they play one more home game until November. They play a home game on October 12th, and then not again until November 2nd. And then they got a few more of them lined in there at the back end. And I want to say they don't play a divisional opponent until, November 23rd. November 23rd is when they play a divisional opponent. So that's, there's a lot of stuff going here. And then they jack them all in there. They got Vikings, Lions, Bears right in a row. Then come back, go Broncos, Bears, Ravens, Vikings to end the year. And the Vikings didn't look awesome either. So all in all, I think I'm cautiously, very cautiously optimistic with this team. I hope someone, takes a little bit more of a step up as a receiver for the Packers. Tucker Kraft has taken a step as the tight end who's going to get a lot of targets. Can one of those receivers, step up a little bit and do something along those lines? That would be awesome. That would be really, really awesome. Again, cautiously optimistic. I'm nervously excited. I would love to sit here and tell you I'm all in. I think this is the team that's going to make a run. You're hearing that from everybody else. I'm just not there yet. The offense just stalls out a little bit. I don't know if the play calling gets conservative. I don't know if Jordan Love gets a little conservative with the throws or, if he gets a little wonky with them. But I felt like Love was really good Thursday night. The pocket was collapsing, and he was moving in the pocket and not just panicking and either breaking the pocket to run or just chucking it downfield. I mean, the Packers were going downfield a lot. It felt like they were really stretching it and trying to take those shots. So, I don't know, man. They're making my balls tingle a little bit. My balls is tingling. So let's spin around the rest of the NFL here. Sunday was a day, and I noted on before the week started, we have Monday Night Football here coming up shortly with this first game, Bucs Texans. But I did note that Lions Bears was a playoff game because I think I saw a stat that like in the last, since they've gone to the four divisions, only like 6 teams have ever started the year 0-2 against divisional opponents and made the playoffs. The Lions got back on track. Blew the Bears out 52-21. I think they scored in like the first 3 minutes. Yep, scored in the first 3 minutes of the game. The Bears did answer, but then it was pretty much all Lions from there. Rome Odunze had a nice day. Couple touchdown passes on a couple touchdowns on 7 receptions, 128 yards. Caleb Williams, 19-30 for 207. I mean, it was all Lions all day in that one. And the Lions look like they bounced back pretty well from that week 1 loss. But Sunday was a wild day. There were some games going on. There were some wild things happening. As we just keep going around the horn, as I'm kind of looking down the game list here. Seahawks Steelers. That young gentleman from the Steelers. I don't know if he's been cut yet, but he may be soon. Just touching the ball, letting it go into the end zone. Touchdown Seahawks. Not the best outing from my boy Rodgers. 18-33, 203, touchdown, 2 interceptions. Wasn't the finest hour for Rodgers there. The Rams kind of in a little bit of a dogfight for a while with the Titans. Cam Ward was giving them all he had. They were down at halftime, but end up outscoring the Titans 23-6 in the second half. They break away. Maybe game of the day. Another game of the year candidate for this year. Giants, Cowboys. Oh, mama. These boys exploded in the fourth quarter. It was 17-16 going into the fourth. The Giants scored 21 fourth quarter points. The Dallas Cowboys scored 20. The Giants scored 2 Malik Neighbors, 48-yard pass from Russell Wilson that went vertical, and Neighbors went and tracked it down. It was a vintage Russell Wilson pass, and I was like, oh, the Cowboys have done it again. I mean, this was right after the Cowboys had scored. They'd scored with 52 seconds left to go up 34-30. The game looks over, and then somehow, some way, the Cowboys let Malik Neighbors get behind them. And Russell just tosses in an absolute moonshot out to him. Moonshot. But the Cowboys get it into field goal range. Barely field goal range, but Brandon Aubrey banged home a 64-yard field goal for the win. Or for the tie. Not for the win, for the tie. Then we went to overtime, and it went back to looking like the first 3 quarters. These teams looked lost again. There was such a contrast from the first 3 quarters of that game to the fourth quarter to overtime. Just nuttiness. I mean, 506 total yards from the Giants, 422 through the air. Russell Wilson, 30 of 41 for 450, but threw a crucial interception in overtime. But holy moly, what a game. What a damn game. Patriots Dolphins was a slop fest that the Patriots come out on top on. Bills beat up on the Jets. Josh Allen gets what appears to be a broken nose. I haven't seen the official diagnosis, but he got smoked up in there, and he's all black and blue. The Bengals cannot catch a break. The Bengals can't catch a break. They actually win. They start the year 2-0. It feels like they're usually 0-2 at this point. Joe Burrow gets a grade 3 turf toe. Didn't know turf toe came in grades. But despite losing Joe Burrow, despite Jake Browning throwing 3 interceptions, the Cincinnati Bengals win the game. If you are Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars, Cincinnati loses Joe Burrow. The backup comes in and throws 3 interceptions, and you still lose the game. That's a tough look. Trevor Lawrence, 24 of 42, 271, 3 TDs, 2 interceptions. That's a tough look. We'll see what the Bengals can do. We'll see if Browning can keep it on the rails. He was feeding Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase ended up with a hell of a game. 14 receptions, 165 yards, a touchdown. But man, are the Bengals just cursed? They finally get the win to start the season. Even if it's a sloppy game, they get it done. They get this win, but Joe Burrow out for a long, long time. Out for a long, long time. 3 months. We're looking at December. Can the Bengals just hold on to get him back? And then what kind of shape's he going to be in when he gets back? Tough spot. 49ers pick up a win. They go to 2-0. Mac Jones in there leading the crew this week. 2-0. Christian McCaffrey, 13 carries for 55 yards. He got got another 50 yards out of the backfield receiving and a touchdown that way. So 100-plus yards on 19 touches and a touchdown. Christian McCaffrey seems to be figuring it out. Feels like he's back a little bit. Ravens absolutely destroy the Browns. We talked about Bears-Lions. In another just banger game, Colts-Broncos. Colts kick a field goal as time expires and missed it. But those Denver Broncos, they put their hands on the center and they get to re-kick. Colts win 2-0. Danny Dimes 2-0. He delivered a great ball. It was 3rd and 6 with about 1:45 left. I believe that was when they had gotten the ball back. Yes, they had gotten the ball back down 3. He had a nice little crosser on a 3rd and 6, kept the drive going, kept it rolling, and away they went and picked that one up. Panthers, Cardinals. The Panthers tried, and the Cardinals tried to help coming down the stretch, but there weren't enough flags that could be called. I think at one point on the final drive, as the Panthers were staging their comeback, they scored 13 points in the 4th, got an onside kick. This was a part of the day when red zone. The afternoon red zone usually isn't that appealing, but man, there was a lot happening coming down the stretch of the afternoon red zone. You had the Cowboys happen, and you had the Carolina Panthers and the Cardinals, the Panthers making the comeback. You had Eagles-Chiefs going on. We're going to write off Lowe's. Lowe's joins Wingstop as commercials in Red Zone. That said, I've seen 2 commercials on Red Zone in 2 weeks. If that's where it would stay, it would be fine. We know ESPN's going to be, one, it's okay, let's bump it up. But Lowe's, you're out. You're out. I'm taking my business to Menards. I'm taking my business to Home Depot. I will not be going to Lowe's to spend any of my money. You advertise on Red Zone, you're out. I hope one of my favorite products, brands, whatever, doesn't put me in a bind here, because I might cave. I won't lie. But yeah, there was on the final drive the Panthers had against the Cardinals, the 2-0 Cardinals, by the way. There was a drive. That drive, I think there was a point where they hadn't gained a yard offensively, but they just kept moving down the field because the Cardinals could not stop committing penalties. Mr. Official was happy to be out there flag on the play, let's get it. So, yeah, it was really quite something there. The Eagles hold off the Chiefs. The Chiefs make a little bit of a run there at the end. Tyquan Thornton hauls in a pass from Pat Mahomes. I believe Harrison Butker missed another kick in this game. Oops, that's the Eagles. Let me get back to the Chiefs. Yeah, he missed a field goal in this game as well. So I think that's back-to-back weeks with missed field goals. And then in the nightcap, I watched this till about the start of the 4th quarter, and I fell asleep. And The roommate was having none. She said, this TV's getting turned off. If you're over here sleeping, I'm like, come on, just leave it on. I'll catch it in and out. She's not a fan of that. Either way, the game was sloppy-ish. It was a field goal fest until Tyler Algier finally punched one in with 3:22 left in the game to just completely ice it there. Atlanta was up 15-6 with what felt like not a whole lot of threat from the Vikings. J.J. McCarthy had a rough game, 11-21 for 158 and 2 interceptions. Not that Michael Penix played some baller game himself, 13-21 for 135. He only ran it one time. The difference is Bijan Robinson plays for the Atlanta Falcons, and he had 143 on the ground, caught 3 more balls for another 25. He didn't find the end zone because barely anybody found the end zone. Just Tyler Algier found the end zone in this game, folks. But yeah, they should have been really blowing that one out, and they didn't. So I don't know what to think of the Falcons. Could the Falcons be frisky? Or could they be a little questionable? I don't know. And we got 2 games tonight. I won't be doing an addendum because there's no reason in waiting for one game but not the other. Bucks Texans could be a fun one. Texans got to see if they can get themselves on the board, and then Chargers Raiders, a couple of 1-0 teams out on the West Coast going in the second game. First game starts at 6 my time. Second game starts at 9 my time. That's 10 o'clock for you folks back on the East Coast. So just looking around the league, I mean, we got the 2-0 Bills. Either the Chargers or the Raiders are going to be 2-0 out in the AFC West. There's a 2-0 Bengals team in the AFC North. There's a 2-0 Colts team in the AFC South. So every division in the AFC has a 2-0 team. Over in the NFC, the Eagles are 2-0 in the East. The 49ers, the Cardinals, and the Rams, all 2-0 in the NFC West. Packers are 2-0 in the NFC North. And the Bucks could be 2-0 if they pick up a win tonight. So that NFC West, which I think was the division MJ highlighted as a team that could be as a division that could be very, very good, kind of showing that thus far. Point differential. Let's see what we got for anyone got a big point differential already. I mean, the Lions really made up a lot of ground. Lions 65-48, so 17 despite a loss already. Packers 23-point differential already. Bills 21. Packers biggest point differential. Ravens have a 23-point differential despite losing the first game. And there's your winner, the Indianapolis Colts, 26-point differential. So there's some good ball being played. This has been a fun start to the year. Yesterday was a fun day. A little doubleheader here tonight. Maybe we get a little overlap where we got 2 games going. But I liked them. They used to do them a little closer to the start. You do like a 7 and 8:30. That was more fun because then you had one kind of like going to the second half, while the other was kind of finishing up the first. And yeah, but oh well. So yeah, fun week in the NFL. Packers got the Browns next week. Keep that shit rolling. Keep pushing. Keep that defense getting to the quarterback. Let's go. Go Pack, go. Okay, let's spin around all the other sports I like to talk about here. Let's start with some college football. Not a whole lot going on this week. Penn State beat up on Villanova. I think the big thing to notice here is that I think Katron Allen has been a significantly better runner for Penn State this year than Nick Singleton. 10 carries, 86 yards. Singleton, 20 carries, 84 yards. Just interesting. I don't know what we're getting out of the receivers yet. I mean, it's hard to tell. We're going to find out a lot in 2 weeks with Penn State. 2 weeks. Oregon comes to town. Going to be what? 2 versus 3, 3 versus 4, something along those lines of in the rankings. Penn State's at 2 right now. I believe Oregon is at 3. They were off this week. They're back. Oh, they fell down to 6. Really? Okay, whatever. So yeah. How I mean, Miami beats up South Florida. That was a ranked matchup. Georgia-Tennessee was a fun game. That one ended up in overtime. Field goal by Tennessee to start, touchdown Georgia, and away they go for that one. I didn't really watch a ton of that game. But the that Nico guy, Nico Envala, what's his name? I took a thing here. I just see Nico Imalavea. He left Tennessee. They were playing that matchup. Top 15 matchup. Game day was there. Packed stadium. Tennessee looks awesome to go to a game at. Instead, he was out at UCLA with, 10, 15,000 people in the Rose Bowl, and they got beat by 25 by New Mexico. New Mexico. Whoopsies. Maybe you made a bad decision there. Texas beats UTEP, but struggle. Arch Manning, not good again. 11-25 for 114, a touchdown and interception. Might be some question marks there. Ohio State wins, Ole Miss wins, and a close one with Arkansas. But the game of the day, it was the game of the day that I saw. I didn't watch a ton of the Georgia-Tennessee game, like I said. Texas-Notre Dame was fantastic coming down the stretch, and a missed extra point really going to cost the Notre Dame Fighting Irish here, as Texas A&M, Marcel Reed leads them down the field, 13 seconds left when they get it across the end zone, and that, in fact, is a touchdown for the win, and Texas A&M pulls off a big win. Notre Dame, 0-2. 0-2. I would think they're still alive to make the playoffs just because they're Notre Dame. I don't know. I think their schedule's kind of bad going forward. Is probably the big problem for them. Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State. They have USC, who's ranked, Boston College, Navy, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, Stanford. So not the greatest schedule coming home. Definitely got to win out. Can't lose again. This week, what do we got? Texas Tech and Utah is a ranked matchup. They'll be playing at high noon on Saturday. Illinois heads to Indiana for another ranked matchup, and Auburn, Oklahoma is a good matchup in the afternoon. So you got a decent game every time slot for week 4. But week 5 is where we kind of really get rolling here. You get USC, Illinois, you get Auburn, Texas A&M, you get Ole Miss, LSU. You get Oregon, Penn State. You get Bama, Georgia. Like week 5, and then we're hitting it, people. Then we're hitting it a little bit. The only problem is then week 6 kind of stinks. Week 7's got some good matchups. So, but we're getting there. We're getting there with college football. We're almost there. We're in the conference play now. Things start mattering now. It feels like. Let's talk about my Cleveland Guardians. They just swept the White Sox this weekend. Took 3 of 4 from the Royals. They're hanging around. They're still hanging around. They won't let me quit them. I got to keep paying attention. Not watching a ton of full games or anything, but I got to keep paying attention. They're 2.5 back of the Astros. Now, the Astros, because the Mariners, who have just been on fire, 9 in a row, have overtaken the Astros in that division. So just 2.5 back of the Astros now for the final wild card spot. Just a half game back of the Rangers in that chase as well. Cleveland's won 9 of their last 10, 4 in a row, and are just struggling to make up ground. Like I said, the Mariners have won 9 in a row. The Rangers have won 7 of their last 10. Cleveland has made up a little ground on the Tigers, probably not enough to get anywhere. They're only 6.5 back. They've passed the Royals, obviously taking 3 or 4 from them helps. Tigers are 5-5 in their last 10, but they got to set with the Tigers coming up here. What do they got left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games. Did I count that right? We got a 4-game set in here somewhere. Yep, 3 against the Tigers, 4 against the Twins, 3 more against the Tigers, and then close it out with 3 against the Rangers. So all sorts of teams right around him that they're going to need to beat. I mean, gosh. I mean, you got a chance to do something crazy if you sweep the Tigers through that portion. But yeah, 13 games left, 2.5 back. Can they do it? I don't know. We'll see. CJ Kafis is up. He's been playing a lot more. Jose's still having a year. I mean, I get you just got to kind of roll with the punches at this point. I mean, Manzardo's had a nice year so far. 26 home runs still, 15 doubles. Jose, 28 and 29, 28 homers, 29 doubles. Just keep on rolling. Keep coming. Just keep pushing it. We'll see. They're keeping me hanging around. Scotty Scheffler wins the Pro Core. All the U.S. Ryder Cup guys go and play the Pro Core this week. Thank God somebody said to do that. Don't need them coming in not having played competitively at all to the Ryder Cup. But it was a nice showing from the Ryder Cup guys. Ben Griffin, 3 whams, 18 to miss out in the playoff by 1. JJ Spawn, 6th place finish with a nice Sunday. Cam Young, 9th place finish with a nice Sunday. Sam Burns, 13th place finish with a nice Sunday. Russell Henley, T19. Cantlay, T30. Harris English, T43. Colin Morikawa, T43. Justin Thomas, 69. So, I mean, I would say of the 10 guys there, 7 of them had a pretty nice weekend, T30 or better. 6 T20. That's a good sign. I mean, it's not the staunchest event on tour, but I mean, those 10 guys were in it. It's the best field the Pro Course had in a while. Someone joked, we should actually just give Lanto Griffin this win. He won the Ryder Cup portion of this event at coming in at 17 under behind Ben Griffin and Scotty. Jackson Koiven, the AM, with another good finish, T4, with would have had a shot to win if he could have played a little better. Finishes 3 back and just shoots 1 under on the final day while the guys around him, Emiliano Grillo, Lanto Griffin, Scotty Scheffler, 5, 6, and 7 under respectively. But that kid's an amateur. There seems to be a high ceiling for that fella. So good work, good signs, good showings from the dudes in the Ryder Cup team. Build some momentum heading towards Bethpage here in just under 2 weeks now. Jacked up for that. What a great weekend that's going to be. Ryder Cup. Then Penn State plays Oregon that Saturday night. Packers play the Cowboys that Sunday night. Could be a really great weekend in my house, or it could be really, really bad. Probably won't be anything in between. At all. So, yeah. And then finally, I watched a fight Saturday night. I haven't watched a fight. I'll say it for Ethan. Fight game. I haven't watched a fight in I don't know how long. Nothing's really been speaking to me, but this one spoke to me. Terrence Crawford has become, probably my favorite fighter, that's still out there fighting. And he moved up in weight, and I forgot to grab my scorecard. Hang on. Don't go nowhere. He moved up in weight 2 divisions. He went from his last fight at 154, went up to 168, and took on the undisputed champ at that number, Canelo Alvarez, and comes out with a unanimous decision, 116, 112, and then 2 115, 113s. I've got a little problem with the 115, 113s. And I definitely have a problem that after 10 rounds, it was 5-5, 6-4, 5-5, 5-5, and then 6-4 on all the scorecards. I had him winning 117, 111, so that's 9 rounds to 3. I thought maybe you could give Canelo another round in there, but if he gets another round, there's probably a round that Crawford could have had. And I mean, for example, one of the 115, 113s had Crawford take the first, and I gave that to Canelo. So you're telling me taking away a Canelo round, there were 4 other rounds they had him win? I just don't see it. I had Canelo win the 6th, and then I felt like it was pretty much all Bud from there. He kind of took the 8th off almost. Someone awarding the 9th to Canelo felt wrong. We saw that on one of the scorecards. There was some fuckery afoot. I thought Crawford won pretty convincingly, and he had to, just to come out with one more round from one of those 115, 113s. On one of those cards, it's a majority decision now. One round on each, it's a majority draw. There's fuckery afoot when you fight Canelo. You gotta win convincingly. Even sometimes when you do win convincingly, they steal it from you. But Terrence Crawford, there was a point in the 7th round, he was just standing with Canelo. He's like, we'll throw punches. And Canelo's got one of the greatest chins in recent boxing history. And I don't think he was ever rocked, but he was more rocked at any one point than Crawford ever was. So it was just I thought a pretty good performance from Terrence Crawford. Now, if you're a casual fan and you don't watch a bunch of boxing, not that I do as much anymore, but I've watched a lot, and I've watched a lot of Canelo, and I've seen what he's done to people. It's not that you have to be a smart fan. I just think you have to have seen a lot of Canelo to understand what Crawford did to him, and just stood there and didn't fall into anything and just picked him apart, really. So there wasn't a lot of fireworks. There were a couple really fun rounds, but it was more of a chess match type of match. And hey, I'll admit full and well that when there are certain matches in UFC where it gets to be ground based, and the announcers are like, "Oh, this is such interest." I'm like, I don't know. Seems like one of them's got him in the hold, and he's really struggling to get out. So that probably might have been to a casual fan that only watches boxing occasionally, and I'm pretty casual at this point, but I found it to be very intriguing. And there always felt like there was just that hint of, if Canelo catches him, this whole thing can change in an instant. And I think he did catch him once or twice, and Crawford just kind of walked through it. Terrence Crawford bumped up. His last fight was at 154. His fight before that was at 147. He moved up 3 weight classes, 5 division world champ, undisputed at 3 of them. That's pretty impressive. I think that's all I got for the rest of the sports stuff here. Here we go. I did say a couple things. First of all, the fight started at 1 a.m. Eastern. I was duped into thinking that Dana White's going to be involved in this. We're going to get these things going earlier. Start time wasn't till 9. I was like, yeah, but Dana's we got to speed up the process. He's always said that there's all this bullshit. It takes so long for every guy to make his entrance. Same old shit. It was 8:30 before the first match of the undercard was on. There was a match in the ring from the prelim card that they weren't even showing. It took forever. All those matches went the distance. It took forever in between fights. It was the same old shit. I'd been had once again. Thank God it was free on Netflix. Max Kellerman's still kind of an asshat, but he told us one very insightful thing: if you want to get ass, you got to bring ass. Apparently, so. All right, let's move on. Time for some passing thoughts. I forgot to do 2 things in the sports section. This tweet from Ryan Ballingy: if to keep a PGA Tour card, you had to beat Scotty Scheffler in any 72-hole tournament which Scheffler played this season, there would only be 58 total PGA Tour members. Scotty Scheffler has lost to just 57 unique players this season. That's absurd. Absolutely absurd. And then the other absurd sports stat, Paul Skeens, 21-12 in 53 career starts. In 21 wins, he has an ERA of 0.91. In his non-wins, he has an ERA of 2.66. So, if Pittsburgh had given him just 3 runs in support of each of his 53 starts, he would be 33-5. If they had scored 4 runs, he would be 36-1. Just absolutely absurd what is happening with Paul Skeens. And just absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. All right, on to passing thoughts. I got this LinkedIn message the other day, and I noticed that this guy had kept sending me messages. And in the past, he'd at least put my name. But the last 2 messages he has sent me, it starts, hi, first name. Like you can see it there. Hi, first name. Not even hi, Jordan. Like he doesn't even bother to go in and put my name in when he's sending me the message. Like, come on, dude. A little effort. Just a little effort. Just a little bit of it. This past week was 9/11. It's been 24 years since that day. It's crazy. That's how long ago it was. I can remember that day in school, and just the weirdness of that and how weird it is every year. Try and always do the stair stepper challenge, and holy shit, was that hard this year. First time I'd done the stair stepper at all post surgery, and I was on there for like 30 minutes just sweating my balls off. But yeah, there's so many incredible stories of people doing amazing things and great things on that terrible, terrible day. So remember all the good stuff, and all the people who did incredible things that day. So some nicer stuff here. I found some. We had to stop. The roommate wanted to stop at the grocery store yesterday after the gym, and I always have a routine when I go to the grocery store. I make sure I pass by the meat department no matter what I'm doing in there. And it paid off yesterday, because yesterday they had ribeyes on sale for like $11 or $12, and strips on sale for like $7. Roommate likes to strip. I like the ribeye. So I got us a steak dinner for under $20. She's like, what are you doing with those? I'm like, hey, they're on sale. She's like, I like how you just always walk right there. But I did. And then we made some cowboy butter. Been seeing that all over the talks and the reels. No talks for me. No talks. No China on my phone. I've been seeing it all over the reels. We made some cowboy butter. Ooh, that was scrumptious little dipping sauce for a steak. But always good when you can find the steaks on sale. Never lets you down. Speaking of food and things that did not let me down, I don't even know what I was talking about, but I was talking, this is probably 2 weeks ago with the roommate, and I mentioned Cine Minis. I was like, oh, love Cine Minis. Used to get Cine Minis every Sunday. Not every Sunday, but a lot of Sundays. My mom would always go get Dunkin' Donuts coffee, and on Sundays she'd kind of be like, she didn't like, you had to cross the road to go to Dunkin' Donuts, to go from Dunkin' Donuts to Burger King, and she hated doing that. She'd be like, I just want to come home. Meanwhile, you had to turn to get to that side of the road. But, I digress. And I would get, a lot of the times I would get Cine Minis. She'd get me Cine Minis. And I would eat Cine Minis in my room, watching TV on Sunday mornings. It was the sports reporters and NFL matchup would be one of the things on about the time she'd get back with them. And I loved me some Cine Minis. And they discontinued them. And I was mentioning Cine Minis to the roommate. She's like, I don't even know what Cine Minis are. So I just Googled them to like pull up a picture. I see they were back. And this was like 2 weeks ago. And last week I had a trip where I was going to be going right by a Burger King. I'm like, in the morning, like I'm getting me some Cine Minis. Those things held up. Like when I got the snack wraps were good, and the nostalgia factor of it was awesome, but like it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same piece of chicken. They weren't as good. They're still good. They just weren't what I remembered. They were nice, but they were just different. Cine Minis were what I remembered. And then some. I thought they might have been better. The only downfall was that you didn't get the Cine Minis in the box with the little part where you could put the icing that you dipped it in. They just gave you the icing in a separate cup, and the box and thing were separate. But back in the day, they had that box with the flip open lid, and the front had the spot for the icing. But Cine Minis are back. Cine Minis were delicious. Also, while we're on food, I I noticed, and I've always noticed this, but I was like, I should just mention this on the pod. When I reheat leftovers, I like them to come out of the microwave scalding hot. Like, I want them so hot, I have to wait a couple seconds to eat it. Or especially if it's something that I'm putting something cold back on, I need it scalding hot. So if you put on like a sour cream or a salsa or a ranch or whatever, that it doesn't get cold. Like, it just balances. So I love just a scalding hot meal of leftovers coming out of the microwave. Couple other things here. I would assume most people have this, but I just thought of this. This was another thing that I was like doing. I was like, oh, I wonder if I've ever mentioned this on the pod. Like, everybody has a plastic bag full of plastic bags, right? Like, we use it a lot more now since we've had our dog. But like, we always had a bag full of plastic bags. But yeah, you gotta have a poop bag for the pooper scooper and all that stuff. But like, everybody has that, right? Because if not everybody has that, it's mind-boggling to me, because everybody needs a bag full of plastic bags. So, WrestleMania in 27, I think, is going to Saudi Arabia. I hate that. It just won't. It just won't be good. Yeah, WrestleMania 43, because WrestleMania 40, yeah, in Saudi Arabia. And I believe Royal Rumble's going there. I hate it. And they're already doing this thing that there's already reports that they want Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Rock, like all these old guys to come back. And like, I'm all for a good nostalgia old guy come back, but like, those guys are past it. It sucks. It sucks that WrestleMania is going to Saudi Arabia. I mean, it's clear since the sale, what the tactic's been. It's squeeze every bit of money out of WWE. Prices for everything have gone up. Tickets to WrestleMania are crazy expensive. Tickets to, Royal Rumbles are crazy expensive. They're all in big stadiums now. You lose a little bit of the intimacy of an arena show. Say what you want about Vince McMahon, but like they mentioned how they kept ticket prices a little lower than they could have, and they've raised the tickets, and they're trying to catch it up to UFC to get on par with that. So the product's pretty darn good right now. I'm enjoying it, enjoying the last Cena run, but like it sucks. WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia, like those crowds aren't as good. It's just not, the crowd's not going to be as good. It's not. That sucks. And we're just going to end on this one. Last week, Charlie Kirk was assassinated. One of the most horrible things I saw it too. Like that weighs on you. Like, just scrolling through Twitter and you see it. I mean, that's awful. I mean, the images that are seared in my memory, like 9/11 and this, and yes, obviously there's been other terrible things that have happened in political violence in our lifetime, but like, I saw this one. And I think, I mean, obviously there's the just absolute lunatics who celebrated it, all sorts of that was just crazy to see. And like, yeah, is Charlie Kirk right wing? Is he some sort of right wing extremist though? No, like his whole shtick was he would go talk to other people who had different beliefs. Like, that's the guy we killed. I mean, I saw a clip of Dave Smith. He's like, he was the moderate. Like, he's not some right wing extremist. Like, there are right wing extremists out there. He's not it. Do you have a couple of views that are like some right of center? Sure, but like, there are people in the world that are way more right wing than him. There are people in the world that are way more left wing in comparison to where he is right wing. Like, just terrible. There's people celebrating it. You even saw a lot of tweets that like, yeah, this shouldn't happen, but it's like, if you're gonna just put the but at the end of it when anything like this happens, just shut the fuck up and don't. So hopefully this shit stops and we don't see any more of it. But I did notice there were no American cities got burnt to the ground after that happened. So they've got the killer. Hopefully they figure out what's going on. Who knows if there's anything more to it than just a lone gunman, but we'll probably find out. So sorry to end us on such a poor note, but we'll trudge on next week. So let's go wrap this thing up. Closing time, everybody. Just want to thank everybody for coming here, hanging out, watching the show. Thank you to everybody that does that. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who watches, anybody who listens, anybody who likes, anybody who subscribes. So thank you. Thank you to producer Kevy for helping me get the show on video. Don't forget to check out my guy MJ over at the Full Range Podcast. You can find that on Spotify and on the Ole Walls House YouTube channel. Don't forget to check out the merch shop. This hat is sick. Get you one of those. And yeah, we'll be back next week. More football. We're getting ready for the Ryder Cup. We got some college football. Gonna be another fun week on OWH. So till then, peace.